Comedian Tony Rock clears the air about him and his brother Chris Rock's relationship. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's go and get into it.
Damn. Yankees getting their ass kicked. Mm-hmm. Ice Cube versus Fat Joe.
Kamala versus
Trump. Tony Hinchcliffe is trending.
And your brother hates you.
And I am trending because of something so simple. But here's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
I don't really live. I live in the real world. I don't live in social media.
Right.
So, excuse me one second. Let me clear my throat.
Yeah. So it's a whole world that people bring into real life, and it ain't real life.
Right. Yeah. And what I noticed yesterday in the last 2 days, which I did not know at all, is that people will take me and you. This conversation we're having right now. Mm-hmm. Somebody will take this clip. Mm-hmm. Label it something entirely different.
Yes.
For the clickbait.
Yes.
Which now I understand clickbait because it was like it was about 10 people took the same clip
and labeled it differently.
Put 10 different labels on it for clickbait. Mm-hmm. One of them said, "What up, bro?"
This is Tony Rock's. We already know this is Chris Rock brother. Hit the thumbs up button.
Trey Elliott in the building. One of them said, one was like Tony Rock voices his frustration with his brother, which was not the case. If you watch the clip, that's not what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Another one said, Tony Rock enraged at his brother. Again, not the case.
Right.
So I'm looking at all of these clips that people have posted, and random motherfuckers that don't know me from a can of paint,
right.
Don't know Aries, don't know you, don't know Trey, don't know my brother, took the time to post the clip, put a sensationalized label, caption,
highlight or headline, yeah.
And I was like looking at it like, oh shit, that shit got like 5,000 views. That one got 15,000 views. Like, oh, I see what y'all are doing. Y'all don't even have anything. It's nothing. When people watch it, they're gonna go, this ain't it. This ain't what that label, that title was. Right. But you already watched. They got the view.
They got the views.
Yep.
Right.
So they win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they get the comment based on. Of course, you got the
and they get the traction.
They get the traction, the trolls, and then it's anywhere and everywhere it shows up. Like Trey, you hit me. You're like, you seen this? I'm like, oh, what is this? Where did this come from? I thought it was our video, but it was one of those media outlets.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They clipped it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they was putting up. So.
Well, it's a lesson to be learned here. The first lesson is we got to know which videos we need to put out on our own. And clickbait is
that's not that. No, because they like we just said that they can take this right here
anything
and label it
right.
Trey, Tony, and Fox. Incredible argument in the studio, and people are going to run to it, but that's not what it is.
But what would I say?
So how would we know what to post and what not to post when they're going to label it something entirely different for the views, for the sensationalism of it all?
We have the ability to title it however we see we need to title it. Because basically, we playing the internet game. We not playing our game, unfortunately. We playing the internet's game. Yeah. And to order to get the traction and the views, we got to think like how the internet think. We can't think sensibly how.
So you saying play along with it?
If we want to get views and go viral, we got to kind of play the game a little bit.
I see what you're saying, but we control how we put ourselves out there. Right. But people will interpret it and take it. Oh, I like that. Let me use that as a soundbite. That game, I don't think that's a good. Way to look at.
Okay, so look, we're gonna do that. So in this particular instance, Aries asked me, and by the way, it's Aries, Aries.
Yeah, I don't know.
Aries asked me, "Hey, this is a question I always wanted to ask. You guys were sitting right here. It's always been on my mind." And he asked me a question. I told him, based on what I know about my brother, as far as how he controls his business,
right?
Yes.
As far as his business acumen, he's like, okay. And here's the thing. For people, everybody watching this, guess what? All the niggas y'all think are really getting money in Hollywood, every nigga you think is really getting crazy though in Hollywood, still got a board of white people they got to answer to.
Right.
Got a whole fucking production company of white people, a network of white people, fucking
agents, management
that they have to answer to. So I say that to say, if my brother wants to shoot a movie and he wrote a script and it's amazing, right? He's still got to take it to somebody and go, hey, what do you think of the script? They're going to read it and say, hey, I love it. And the very next question is, who do you have attached to it? What that means is what names are in these roles. And that will dictate whether or not we give you $20 million to make this movie, or $10 million to make this movie, or $5 million to make this movie, or we say we passing entirely.
Right.
So if you're trying to sell a movie, and this ain't no, I'll say that on the back end. If you're trying to sell a movie, you got to come with names. So, for instance, Death at a Funeral. That was the movie Aries was talking about. One of the characters was a brother. So now people watching is like, well, shit, he got a brother that we know. Why don't you put him in the role? But you can't go to the white man and say, hey, I'm going to shoot this movie. This is the script. You loved it. Tone's going to play the role.
Yeah, it don't work that way.
In all defense of my brother, in all honesty, that white man might not know me. Y'all know me. But that dude sitting at the fucking corner office, top floor, might say, who's Tony Rock? Can't go to the white man and say, hey, I'm going to shoot this movie. This is the script. You loved it. Tone's going to play the role.
Yeah, it don't work that way.
In all defense of my brother, in all honesty, that white man might not know me. Y'all know me. But that dude sitting at the fucking corner office, top floor, might say, who's Tony Rock?
Oh, that's my brother. That's my brother.
I'm going to put my brother in. What does your brother do? There's a podcast on Tuesdays at the Laugh Factory every night. All right, that's going to guarantee us about 50 people go see this movie?
Yeah.
Maybe 100?
That's how they say it, too.
Right? Maybe 100?
Yeah.
Okay, who's the brother? Martin Lawrence. Oh, shit. Put that on the board. He got Martin Lawrence.
Bigger name.
Who's the other so-and-so? Name. Oh, shit. All these people attached? Here's the money. Make the movie.
Right.
So now they know they have something viable. This is an investment for a production company.
Right.
That's all I was saying. So what I was saying was, in that regard, I understand not getting the brother role in Death at a Funeral. That's what I was saying. Now, with regards to, I asked my brother for 5 favors. He said no every time. And I said, I'll never ask him for nothing again. Those 5 favors all came before I was 15 years old.
I had to tell somebody that.
But I get it. They take it and they go, let's sensationalize that to make it seem like he asked for a favor last week in 2 days.
Yeah, but exactly. But that's what I was thinking when I saw that particular interview. I watched his podcast, Live from the Green Room. Y'all should go ahead and check it out and subscribe. I'm actually going to hit the notification button. It's already been hit. I thought the same thing when he was telling this story on his show with Ari Spears. Y'all can go back and watch that episode. I thought he was saying when he was an adult, Chris Rock wasn't trying to hear him, but from what he's saying, he was a teenager. The thumbs up button. Yeah. If you being an annoying little brother, this is him being an annoying little brother, really.
He's going
he never helped him with his career.
I asked him one of the, I remember all 5 favors, but one of them was I had saved up my money. Saved up my little allowance. I wanted to buy a pair of Shell-toe Adidas. The light blue joints that DMC had on in Crush Groove with the light blue Adidas sweatsuit.
Right.
And I wanted those. And I had they was like $40 and I saved up $40. And I was like, I'm going to get my sneakers today. It was a Saturday afternoon. Chrissy just got a new car. Had a red Toyota. He pulling up to the block, gets out, got some Chinese food, got his chick with him. They sitting on the stoop eating Chinese food together. I'm like, all right, he got a car. I can just go get the sneakers and come right back, right? Quick.
Yeah.
Chrissy, can you take me downtown and get some sneakers? He's sitting there with Shorty. Now, in my adult tone,
Yeah,
I look at it
right.
yeah, I was wilding.
He was being annoying.
I was wilding.
You want to
But he was like, man, get out. Yo, take the train. Take the A train. Get off on Hoyt, go upstairs. It's downtown Brooklyn. Get your sneakers and come back. What? I ain't take you downtown.
Favor number 1.
No, that was like favor number 4, bro. But I was mad about it.
Right.
So I was like, man, fuck this dude, man. So 2 of my homegirls. Now here's a story I told y'all that coincides with the same story. See, all my life is like everything connects.
Right.
That was the same day I told y'all the story about I went downtown and bought the sneakers and I wore them home and the guys on the train was like, yo, they look like your size.
Yeah.
Same story. Same day. I told the story about how one time I bought a pair of Shell-toe Adidas. I was downtown Brooklyn. I had 2 of my homegirls with me. I had 2 girls with me.
Right.
I jump on the train coming back to Bed-Stuy. This was back when wolf packs used to just walk through the train and mob people and just, go crazy. Spray paint the window, rob the whole train car. So I'm on the train with 2 girls. This is skinny tone. This 13, 14-year-old tone. I'm this big.
What?
I got a fresh pair of Shell-toes on. Dudes walking through the car, about 6, 7 dudes. They all bigger than me except for one dude. So they all know, like, we can kill him, but we gonna put it on our little man too. He a little dude, we gonna put it on our little dude.
Right.
So they're like, hey, yo, J or K or whatever. Yo, K. They look like they're your size, K. They brand new too, K. They look like they're your size. So the dude K, they put the battery in his back. He felt emboldened because he had 6 dudes with him.
Get the shoes.
He like, yeah, they do look like my size. Yo, what size are those? Now me, always studying, even in my youth, my older brothers gave me a lot of game. When people push you to do something, you're usually the most afraid when people are pushing you to do something. So taking that knowledge that I have been given from my big bros, I'm thinking to myself, now keep in mind, my heart pumping out my chest. Yeah. I'm not on no tough guy shit at all. I ain't trying to sound like I was the toughest motherfucker in the world at all. I was scared to death. Right. But I knew, just by keeping calm, he must be scared too. Right. So he was like, yo, what size are those? I stood up and was like, yeah, they your size, K. Yeah, K, they your size. Yeah, they your size. Right. And just kept the look like, yeah, they your size. Yeah, and didn't break eye contact. And he was like, oh, and then I saw him break like, got it. It was like, come on, y'all, man. Let's go, yo. Let's go. And they walked out. And
he put his whole car.
But that's the same day that I said, hey, drive me downtown. Right. So I say all this to say, the 5 favors was before I was 15 years old. I'm just a cancer, so I say shit and I stick to it. Yeah. Now, in my adult life, I realized that you can't live like that. Right. Case in point, when I asked for the favor to perform at the Barclays, which he agreed to. Right. So now that dynamic has changed. Right. But I see that y'all took it and ran with it, and sensationalized it to make it seem like I asked for 5 favors in the last week or so.
Recently. Like a career favors.
So we can put a pin in it right here. So I was explaining the dynamic of making a movie, and then I was saying, in response to that, why I don't ask for stuff. That's what I was saying. But that's, that was in the past. Right. If I need a favor, I can ask for one. Right. It's not a big deal.
So that is the clip from Tony Rock's show, Live from the Green Room. So all this stuff, he said he asked for these favors when he was a kid. So he basically was just being an annoying little brother. And he said all these favors happened before Chris Rock was Chris Rock. So it's like he couldn't really do. It was like he was just being a little brother. Chris Rock wasn't famous yet. He didn't, what I'm saying? He had a Toyota, so it's not like he was asking to put him in a show or a movie, because Chris Rock wasn't even in a show and a movie yet. So I can understand how that can be misconstrued. Because I remember him telling that story on that episode. Because I was like, damn, Chris fucked up. He won't help his brother out. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Help you. I mean, you ain't obligated to. But then again, you kind of are. Like, people who are in positions of power help out their family members all the time, and nobody says anything. I was like, why couldn't he help his brother out? That's what I was thinking too, as well. I thought, man, he was just being. I'm like, Chris Rock is an asshole. But this is good that Tony Rock kind of, because that shit went viral. The cool part about it is that interview was like from like 6-7 months ago, and I guess somebody ended up finding that interview and putting it on Instagram, the clip of what he was telling that story with Aries Spears, and the shit just recently blew up. It's crazy how something that you did a year ago on social media, if the right person sees that video and decides to clip that video can be dug back. You could have did that video years ago. It could be dug back up depending on who took that video and clipped it, made it a clip, and on their platform, and it could just blow up. And then now the other people that's in competition with that particular platform, they want to feel like they're up on what's going on, so they're going to take their clip, and you see what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So that reason why this particular situation blew up, because that was an old interview from like 6 months ago, 6-7 months ago that he did with Aries Spears. I mean, it might be maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but in internet years, that was an old interview. You know what I'm saying? But somebody digged it back up, and then they clipped it on Instagram, and then somebody else clipped it that took that same clip, did a reaction to it that had a big platform, and now it's snowballed to the point where now Tony Rock feels like he has to explain, he got to clear up what exactly he meant by his brother don't look out. He's saying that his brother didn't look out when he was being a knowing teenage kid, when his brother didn't even have those type of connections yet to put him on. It was just him being an knowing kid, a knowing little brother, And he just said that if he asks his brother for something now, it's no problem. His brother gonna hook him up. His brother. I was thinking to myself, his brother had him in. They had him as the uncle to, I want to say Tashina Arnold, or no, I think he was Terry Crews's little brother. He played the uncle on the show. It wasn't a recurring thing on Everybody Hates Chris, that show, but Tony Rock would pop in here and there and play this uncle character. So he put his brother on. It's not like he left him hanging. He put him on. You know, he was on that show maybe the last 2 to 3 years that it was on the air. He was on there. He started being on there more often, you know. And I believe he played Terry Crews' little brother, if I ain't mistaken, because I know Earthquake played Tashina Arnold's brother on the show. So unless he played Tashina Arnold's brother, I mean, like, you know, you can have more than one brother, but I'm thinking that he played Terry Crews' brother on the show. So Chris Rock has hooked his brother up. He's put him up on shows and stuff that I've seen him in stuff that was produced by Chris Rock. He was on Chris Rock's TV show that he had on HBO back in the 90s. So he's put him up on stuff here and there. You know what I'm saying? But what he was saying that Chris Rock, he asked him for those favors, and Chris Rock told him no. It was when he was a teenager and when Chris Rock was broke and probably couldn't do the favor for him. You know what I'm saying? Probably, you know what I'm saying? He probably was trying to build himself up first, you know. Anyway, it's good he cleared that up, man. I like Tony Rock. Personally, I think Tony Rock is a little bit to me. I like to see Chris Rock in movies and TV shows, acting. I like to see Chris Rock do comedy acting. His stand-up is okay, but to be honest with you, I think Tony Rock is actually better to me. To me, it's all subjective. I think he's better than Chris Rock when it comes to stand-up, to be honest with you. Tony Rock is. I think he's better than his brother, to be honest with you, you know. And when he talked about those favors that Chris Rock turned down, I was thinking, oh, you know what? Chris Rock just being an asshole because he know that his brother's funnier than him. Maybe he don't want to take the shine off of him, you know. But that's not the case. He just was being an annoying little brother, and the story is all cleared up. Good for him. Anyway, what do y'all think about this video? Subscribe to my channel, Charles Arnaz World, and check out Live from the Green Room. Live from the Green Room podcast is Tony Rock's podcast. I don't know how long it's been around. Thinking it's fairly new. You know, a lot of these celebrities are starting to move into the podcast world. You got Angel Reese, she has one. I'm trying to think, somebody else has started a podcast too recently. I can't think of who it is, but a lot of the celebrities are making their way to the podcast world. You know what I'm saying? So, good for him. Anyway, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button.